Okay, well, thanks, Robin Copestick, for joining us. This is the second week of our interviews for VINEX with industry leaders around the world, looking at how the whole COVID outbreak is have an impact on different companies. So, Robin, perhaps just a quick introduction to Freixenet Copestick, and yeah, if you can just pick up really on how the year's been today, and then what impact the crisis has actually had on your own business so far.
So Freixenet Copestick is the largest importer of sparkling wine in the UK. Yep. We're owned by Henkel Freixenet, who are also the largest producer of sparkling wine in the world. Henkel Freixenet is an amalgamation of Henkel in Germany and Freixenet in Spain.
Okay.
Freixenet and Copestick employ 58 people in the UK. We're based in Newbury. Freixenet Copestick is also an amalgamation of Freixenet UK and Copestick Murray, which is a company I founded in 2005 with Paul Murray. 2019 was our first year together. It was very successful.
Yeah.
We hit most of our key targets, and we were expecting 2020 to be even more successful. We had a great start to the year, and clearly the coronavirus has had a serious impact on the business. Yeah. Luckily, only 15% of our business is in the on-trade. Mm-hmm. That business has completely collapsed, and we have no idea when that will come back. The off-trade is performing well for us, so we'll probably have a sort of mitigating effect on the on-trade. Yeah. So overall, we remain quite positive about the outcome for 2020, although it's not going to be as good as we expected it to be when we were setting our budgets last year.
But in terms of a company and the way you operate, most of your staff are still working, you're still working as a team remotely, I guess?
Yeah, everybody apart from the office manager is working remotely. The office manager lives very close, only 1 mile from the office. She drives there, so it's very safe for her. So she's not seeing anybody, and we've got a private car park, so that's good. So she's going into the office every day to pick up the post, answer phone calls, just to be there, keep an eye on the office. Everybody else is working remotely. Okay. That is going well for most people. Most of our sales guys and me and a few other people are very used to working from home. Okay. So that is not a problem at all. Yep. However, it is a bit more of a challenge for teams like our marketing team and our logistics team are very used to working in a team. Yeah. And they work in a pod where they feed off each other and they share experiences and they help each other. They are finding it more challenging and probably more stressful. And I also think it's particularly stressful for the people who've got a young family where the husband and wife are juggling childcare for younger people. So we're doing well, but I have noticed that particularly those employees are finding it a bit more challenging, but they're doing an incredible job at the same time.
Yes, as weeks go by as well, we'll all have different experiences. Can I just talk to you about that, because I know you've actually also used this opportunity to bring in new innovations. You've actually been able to, in a way, use this time to actually develop new ideas. I mean, can you just talk through some of the steps you have taken to be on the front foot?
Sure. I mean, before coronavirus came, we had a number of new initiatives on the table. Yeah. And at the very beginning, we thought this wouldn't be a great time to launch new products or to try and do new things. But we quickly realised that actually this could be a perfect time to get things launched, because the hardest thing from getting a project off the table and into reality is just the time it takes to pull all the different pieces together. Yeah. And what we found is actually people working remotely, the people concerned, me included, had a little bit more time to focus on these things. So a couple of the ideas have come to life much quicker than expected, and that's great. And we've had a great reaction from customers who are really pleased that even though there is a certain amount of chaos out there, that we are actually bringing new ideas to them. And also during that time, we had an idea for our iHeart brand. We originally thought that we would do something centered around the NHS, something relatively small, which would be to change the Prosecco label. Instead of saying iHeart Prosecco, we would just say iHeart NHS. Yeah. And we would give 100 bottles away to people who've been doing a good job. And I took that to the marketing team. They thought it was a great idea. Then we had the idea of making it broader for all key workers. So it was iHeart Superhero, and our designer created a really good label with a rainbow attached to it. So iHeart Superhero with the rainbow logo. And so from being a 100 bottle giveaway, that then became a 2,500 bottle giveaway, and has now accelerated into 100,000 bottle production, which is happening right now in Northern Italy, and that will be appearing in Sainsbury's and Tesco and Morrison's, I think, beginning of May. So again, an idea of how a little idea that was a bit of fun and something to put a smile on somebody's face actually becomes quite a serious reality.
Yeah, I mean, and that's actually quite an encouraging story from the point of view that we're only got sort of 2 weeks into the whole situation. You managed to, get 3 or 4 major multiples to take on a new brand, not to expense of the brand, but that's something that you wouldn't imagine happening in normal circumstances potentially.
It almost certainly wouldn't happen in normal circumstances. I think they're feeling the need to do something a bit different, and also to put a smile on people's faces and just to change things up, and everybody recognising it's special times.
Yeah, and that really ticks all the boxes in terms of what you're doing. In terms of it's a new wine brand, but it's also healthy. That's probably Tesco calling for another order, Chief.
Yeah, that's an order for iHeart Superhero.
So do you think in terms of going forward, being able to keep that level of innovation and motivation, is that going to be a challenge? Or do you think that the team that you have as part of the personalities that they have?
I think that, for our company, innovation is always going to be important anyway. That's pretty much in our DNA.
Yeah.
I think the challenge for anything sort of brand new getting towards the end of coronavirus and once we're through it, is how the retailers themselves can actually give it the focus, and to range it and to plan it properly. But our opinion here is we will just do what we can do. If the retailers themselves can find the space to launch it, then great. And if they can't, we'll just wait until the time is right.
Yeah. But there has been talk about how the major multiples, different chains, aren't interested at the moment in new ideas. They're just firefighting. But clearly, from your experience, if you have got the right proposal, then there is a chance still to do some really good, effective business.
I mean, I think so. I mean, I think they are finding it difficult. They are firefighting, but everybody knows that this will be over at some point. So even the customers that can't range anything now in this moment, then they know that they're going to have to do something interesting when we're out of this. So I've even had a conversation today with one of the big retailers saying, as soon as we're out of this, contact me and the buyers, and we'll get it done. So yeah. Everybody's thinking ahead as well.
Position to talk about how the group overall is doing. I mean, in terms of how the Henkel Freixenet group has been able to keep on going, or what the situation is there.
Yeah, I think the group is in a relatively good shape, and I think it shows the advantage of a relatively diverse business. So some of the subsidiaries are more dependent on the on-trade than others. So obviously those subsidiaries are not doing so well, but but some of the subsidiaries, like our business, are more concentrated on the off-trade. So globally, those companies are doing well. So overall, the company is fine.
Yeah.
Not as good as we want it to be, but no, I don't think anybody is. But it's going to be fine.
And what's the sort of the feedback in terms of production and actually getting wine moved around the world?
I think the most incredible thing out of this is how amazing our group production has been.
Yeah.
We set up a sort of a group WhatsApp between about 30 countries at the very beginning of this, where everybody reports in every day of what's happening in their particular country. For the UK, we've had no problem. Orders are a bit slower, but the way that they have kept us in production and they've kept the other subsidiaries in production is amazing. And these are people who are really, it's not as serious a job as being in the NHS, clearly, but they are on the front line. They're probably, it's probably a relatively dangerous thing. And I have so much respect for our global, the production and the global team for keeping everybody supplying. And the one thing that I was most pessimistic about when it started was I just thought supply chain generally would break down.
Yeah, that's a lot of talk about that, yeah.
When we saw the news in northern Italy, I just thought, how on earth are we going to get Prosecco and Pinot Grigio out? This is just, this is a disaster. And not just our company, not just Henkel Freixenet, but all companies, the way that they've kept the supply chain going, the way that companies like Hillebrand and Kuckler have kept the lorries coming in for our customers has been incredible.
And I guess in a way, this is a time when the global wine industry, we talk about it being a global wine industry, but this is when it really has come into its own in terms of keeping that supply chain. The pressure on the supply chain has been enormous, but as you say, it seems to be so far coping and keeping ahead of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, which I guess with your relationships with your customers as well, the Tesco's and the Sainsbury's as well, for them to know that they can rely on their wine supply chain working is also really important as well, I guess.
I think it gives them confidence to keep giving our products some good shelf space, to know that the production is continuous and the supply chain is not going to break down, for sure.
I'll just ask you about a longer term impact on the industry. I mean, clearly there are going to be a lot of companies, there's going to be a lot of businesses when we come out of all this. I mean, what's your take on the industry as a whole? Any particular changes or things that you think will have moved on by the time we come out of all this?
It's very hard to predict what's going to happen to the on-trade, not just in the UK, but globally, and how it's going to recover. I do think, potentially if we have a big economic downturn, I can see that, wine will still be a very popular drink around the world, but maybe we will return to more everyday still wine prices. And if you look at what happened in 2007, 8, 9, it was, there was a big reliance on value still wines. Coming out of that recession, we saw a big resurgence, or a massive popularity for Prosecco and a resurgence for sparkling wine in general. Maybe people won't be celebrating quite as much and celebrating every day, but I'm sure people are still going to want to have a drink. So but I think it could just be a slight shift in people's wine choices. But I'm always optimistic, and I think people will find a way to recover and a way to adapt. Henkel Freixenet will adapt. Freixenet Copestick will adapt. So I'm positive.
And do you think really this has been a real kind of wake-up call to those businesses? And let's face it, there are a lot of them who are very sort of single channel. They only work in the on-trade, for say. A time when businesses are having to sort of have a more of a multi-channel approach in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I'm grateful that we are diverse enough to cope, and I do feel for the people who had the one-channel approach when it was centred on the on-trade. You know, how those companies are going to recover, I don't know. The industry could well continue to see some more consolidation where, you know, the smaller companies need some financial help from bigger companies. But I think that will all start to become more obvious as we get closer to the recovery period.
I mean, there has been talk in the trade for a while about, you know, the chance for suppliers to direct the consumer. Do you think that's, in a way, is going to speed that process up, and that whole channel is now going to become a lot more diverse and innovative, and perhaps give people like yourselves an opportunity to look at direct-to-consumer more?
I think that direct-to-consumer model will become much more popular. We have tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of new customers buying wine online for the first time ever. And I think those consumers will realise how easy and how efficient it is, and actually by buying wine in that way makes their supermarket experience easier and quicker if they're not having to lug bottles of wine all over the place. So companies that have developed a direct-to-consumer model, I'm sure, will benefit in the short and the medium term.
Yeah, it seems to me like the genie's out of the bottle just an extent, really. I mean, now that companies have suddenly discovered this new revenue stream, it's really, you can't imagine them turning it back up again when we go back to normal. Yeah,
I mean, it's up to those companies to really work hard to retain those customers. That's always the key with online sales. So the companies that do that well will prosper.
Just finally, I'm not really a month into this, but what lessons would you take from it so far, and what lessons do you think the industry should take from what we've experienced so far with the crisis?
As always, just be positive and try and find the best of a bad solution, and that's what our company's done, and I'm sure other companies have done it. There's no point in getting too down or being too depressed. Obviously, we're in a very serious situation, and I'm not downplaying the situation, but you can only play with the cards that you're dealt, and these are the cards at the moment. So let's find the old ace of spades somewhere.
Okay, great. Okay, Robin, thanks for your time, and as ever, it's great to get your positivity coming through. So best of luck in the future, and hopefully we're back playing football again soon as well.
Good luck to you.
Yeah. Okay, then, Robin, thanks a lot for your time. Cheers.
See you. Bye-bye. Bye. Thank you.